On the 10th Sunday of Christmas, Sharon shared with me a nice little accent to go on top of a Ferrero Rocher wreath. Gold and silver. Silver and gold. Gold and silver. Perfect for Christmas, but also for other holidays and especially New Year's. So if you're having a New Year's party, you might want to pay close attention today. I bought some clear cellophane from the Dollar Tree. It's very fragile, as you might expect cellophane is. But I'm going to cut a piece that is probably, and I know I'm working off camera, but that's because the roll is so long. It's probably 5 to 6 inches wide. So it cuts very easily, but you do want to just be careful. And I just try to cut really near the roll. And I want a continuous piece. There we go. So now we have this little strip, and let's see, I guessed that it was 5 or 6, and it's like 5.5, so great. All right, now you're gonna take some Ferrero Rocher chocolates. I happen to buy this big thing here because one of my sons loves them, and so do I. I got this at, I think it was Costco for 10 bucks. And there were a lot in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Okay, so there were 48 in here. So I filled up our advent calendars, which started today. And mine, I think, are all Ferrero Rocher. Aaron's are not quite all. Peter's are not quite all. One a day. So we've got. I'm going to take some glue dots here. I'm just going to put a little glue dot on the bottom of one, if I can. Let's see. Here we go. Now, I'm starting in about the middle of the cellophane, and here are the edges where my fingertips are. I'm going to put one right about here. That's going to be my center. Then I'm going to just keep going. And now if you have glue dots left over from your paper pumpkin, I'm going to space them about 3/4 of an inch or so apart. So I have a ton left over from paper pumpkin. Those would probably be might actually be easier to put on than these things. Just because this paper that the Ferrero Rocher is on is pretty flimsy. So to get it to come off of here is a little tricky. Maybe I use my scissors. I could use my take your pick tool. I just want something that will keep them in place just a little bit. And I'm going to put in 6. 5 works nicely too. 6 has a slightly different look. The snowflake that I'm going to be using is a 6-pointed snowflake, so I think that's why I'm choosing 6. But if I don't like how this turns out, I'm going to go back to the 5. All right, so there we go. And now what I want to do is I want to kind of roll this over the top. And what I'll do is I'll tuck this side under and roll this over the top. And it really probably needs a little sticky on it to help it stick to the other side, and just so I can work with the process a little bit more. So I'm just going to lay down a few glue dots here. Okay. I'm going to roll this over here. Tuck that side up. And then roll this over. So I'm really creating a bit of a tube. If Elaine is watching, she had seen this done as well. I don't know exactly how she ended up doing hers, but this is how I'm doing mine. And so once you've got that, you just kind of wrap it up like this. And I make like that half knot there and just kind of pull it. And I don't make a full knot, and I kind of, you know, I make them into a wreath. Now I've got this gold and silver trim. The gold and silver trim is it's a 2-pack. I'm going to use the gold. But what I wanted to do, and I'm going to show you my inspiration in a second, I wanted to bring in both gold and silver into this project because I was inspired by something I found in my basement today. Something that my son had brought back home with him when he moved back home a year or two ago. I can't even remember how long ago he was gone. I think he was gone 2 years ago. So he's been back home for 2 years. And he had a Christmas tree at his house. And we just trimmed this top here. And all I did was go around like that. He had some garland for his Christmas tree, and it's silver and gold. And I thought, that's really pretty, the silver and the gold together. It's very classy looking. This would also make a great New Year's Eve gift too, because silver and gold, you'll find that a lot at New Year's Eve stuff as well. All right, so now we need to put some sort of tag on here that will, you know, just spruce it up a little bit. So let's set this aside. All right, I have a piece of gold foil, and I'm going to get out my Metallics embossing kit that I just keep in an old paper pumpkin box. I'm going to give my foil a pass with the embossing buddy just to take out any static or oils that might be on there. Tonight this afternoon, I'm going to be using both the silver and the gold embossing powders, not together in the same pass of heat. I'll do that separately. So I have gold foil. I'm going to choose to emboss in silver. Now I've got my snowflake here from the One of a Kind snowflake set. Now foil is slippery, so you want to go straight down, try not to wiggle, and straight up. You might feel it moving a little bit. It's okay, but you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And we're going to pour on our embossing powder. And let's see, that looks like pretty good coverage. Maybe one little spot right here. All right, let's funnel this back in. We'll clean up as we go. And I want to really try my best to get all the silver powder out of there because I'm going to be using it with the gold in just a second. I'm going to take my heat tool, let it heat up off to the side for just a little bit. Help you get the best results. I'm going to bring this in and heat until you see the powder melt. You see it going? Once you see it change, you want to move on to the next part. Goes very quickly. All right, that's done. Now I'm going to just keep the backside a little bit, help maybe straighten it out a bit. It will lay down eventually. Okay, we are going to die cut this out. I'm going to set this aside though because I'm not done with my embossing. Let's just go ahead and put something over that. We'll put my embossing buddy over that for the moment. All right, I have a scrap piece of early espresso, which is the same color that, or very similar, it's on the back of the chocolates. I'm going to bring in the sentiment that says a little something just for you, also from the One of a Kind stamp set. And I'm gonna steep it sort of near the bottom so I don't have to trim too much off. And when I'm doing something long and little like this, I go ahead and I do it a couple times. That way when I'm here, if I mess up, it's not a big deal to go to the other one. So now we're going to emboss in the gold powder. Pour the gold powder on. All right. Let's see, didn't get quite all of it there. That looks pretty good. We'll funnel this back into the jar. Clean up as we go. Not something I always do, but it's something I always wish I did. If you had seen my craft room earlier, whoo, it was a disaster zone. All right, let's go ahead and get this back out. And once you see it turn nice and shiny and bright, move on. I'm going to do both of them and pick the one that I like better. They both look fine, so I guess it doesn't really matter which we do. I'm going to go ahead and put this away, get that out of the way. All right, let's take my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut a little bit away from the words. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to be able to get a pretty good result because it's a very nice straight line going right across the top there. So a little something just for you. And then what we have to do is we have to take our dies from the one-of-a-kind bundle. I'm going to take the outside shape die, take a little piece of tacky tape, low tack tape. I'm going to cut that out. So let's take the time to line it up very nicely. We'll stick this down. Plate 1, 2, and 3. Then we'll cover it with another 3 and emboss it. And when I take this off, you see I have a silver and gold snowflake, a silver snowflake on gold foil. Now I don't throw this away because you can get lots of little things, little accents out of that gold. So you don't have to, you don't have to be super frugal about it, but you get two 12 by 12 sheets which of gold foil that goes a while in one package for $5. So it's a pretty great deal. And look, we're just going to put this right here in the center, just like that. And where's our little sentiment that I just did? So this is just going to adhere to this. We're going to put this right across the top, and that's how we're just going to adhere. We're going to stick that on. And you could make this into a tag if you wanted to, and it would be dangling, but I really like having it right in the center. So we'll just put a little bit of glue dots around the edge. Put a little glue dot on the back of this. And I think if we put a glue dot on the back and in the center, so it sticks to, so it sticks to the snowflake. That'll work out pretty good. I'm gonna put a couple in the center, I think. We want that to stick down pretty good to our snowflake. So we will just cross this just like that. Make sure my ends are kind of centered there. And we just, these two glue dots on the end here are holding that. And there is our little package. Isn't that just adorable? Let me know, do you love Ferrero Rocher? This is packaged. I will no longer eat them. I do have a few that are still not packaged, however, and I can't make promises about those. And this is your 10th Sunday of Christmas. Thank you so much for joining me for the 10th Sunday of Christmas. I had a lot of fun creating this project, and I hope you will give it a shot. I mean, really, what's the worst that can happen? It's a little bit of a fail and you have to eat all the chocolates yourself? Sounds like a win-win situation to me. If you would like the project sheet so that you can recreate this, although honestly, do you really need the project sheet? We just use some scraps for stamping and then wrap some things in cellophane. But if you'd like the project sheet so you can add it to a binder to draw ideas from when you just don't have any ideas, then go ahead and add yourself to my email list if you haven't already done so. You can find the link in the description of this video. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending out an email with the project sheet for today's project, as well as the project sheet for the Friday Night Live project that I did 2 days ago. So make sure you're on that email list and look for the email tomorrow. Have a great rest of the week. We only have 2 more Sundays in the 12 Sundays of Christmas series. I'll see you next Sunday for Sunday number 11.